Well, greetings and thanks for joining us on another episode of Lightbulb Moments, episode number 171. We're on most Wednesdays live, and you can register for this at Qnity.com. We're also available on Spotify and YouTube and Apple Podcasts. So whether you're joining us live or listening to a recording, we're glad you're with us. I'm Tom Kuhn. I'm host and curator of Lightbulb Moments. I'm also the CEO and founder of Qnity. A light bulb moment is a sudden realization, enlightenment, or inspiration. And remember, you can't start a fire of progress without a spark. At Qnity, we're here to go from what's confusing, complicated, and overwhelming to a simpler path towards prosperity. And to prosper, remember to manage your ATM, the three currencies we have in life: attention, time, and money. And thanks for spending your precious time with us. We love hearing from you. Submit a light bulb moment of your own on the website or use the chat. Please feel free to chat today if you're with us live, or if you're listening to the a recording or the YouTube, put something in the comments section. We love hearing from you. We do have a Light Bulb Moments website. And one of the things I really haven't talked about very much is, which I'm going to talk about today, is some recurring themes that are sort of within the overall theme of this forum. But we do have some sub-themes, some areas we come back to frequently, and we're going to lean into them even a little bit more over the upcoming year. We get into the subject of careers in beauty and succession planning quite frequently. In fact, starting on December 11th, we're going to have a mother-son combination, very well known in the industry in terms of their working together, multi-generational business. And then we have some other guests line up that I've invited. So stay tuned for more profiles of at least two individuals from the same family that are working together. Some really great stories that are not told enough. We also frequently get into the subject of, if I can move my screen here, data. We'll talk about data in a little bit here today. Certainly money matters. And then another area that we get into quite frequently is technology, and in particular, technology adoption and the balance of technology and touch. And in fact, that is our topic du jour with our special guest, who happens to be Megan Jasper, who she certainly is at Gadabout in Tucson, Arizona, as the lead operations person. Can't actually remember the title, but she's top person there, along with Jana and Frank Westerbeek. But she is also a past recipient of the Golden Light Bulb, and she's a very frequent guest here, very popular guest, and we have a great topic today, which we'll get to very shortly. So check out recent episodes of Light Bulb Moments. The last one we had was a piggyback on something we saw at the 2 to 10 leadership retreat. Naomi Bryan, Director of Marketing for VerVe Salon Group in the Aveda Institute, Winnipeg, had a really great pragmatic segment on marketing and how to engage your team to do what makes a really big difference, and that is social posts. A great episode. That was our most recent one. And of course, we have a ton of other great episodes prior to that. Lightbulb Moments is sponsored by Lightheart Sanders, the CPA firm, Green Circle, and Forest. So thanks to all of those brands that we feel aligned with. And we're also grateful that they help make this forum possible. Don't forget to check out Erin's Money O2 podcast. She definitely gets into money matters. That's definitely the single focus of those. And she continues to just interview people from all over, not just the beauty industry. So do check those out. Speaking of data, we have completed 2 recent compensation studies. I'll actually use that as a segue into Megan in a little bit here. But for those of you that participated in past compensation studies, please reach out to us to make sure you get the report. Very eye-opening report. We performed the study last year for the category salons between 1 to 10 locations. And many of you may not have actually seen the final report, which is now available, and it continues to show a trend of higher earnings, lower hours, and really breaks down a lot of different things like turnover. So if it's something of interest, we actually get the full report, let us know. And then we just very recently completed the salon chain compensation study with over 25,000 data points, more specific to chain. So data is a big part of what we do at Qnity, and which leads me into a segue of our current data project, which is very, very relevant for the entire salon community, but in particular employee-based salons. And this is the 2024 Salon P&L Benchmark Study, which is where we have already collected, I don't know how many it is off the top of my head here, but I think we're well over 100 locations, and that submission period is still open. So we will finally have some updated benchmarks post-pandemic from an industry neutral source. So it's not too late to submit in that. And we're noticing some very interesting things, which I'm going to get to with Megan. So a couple things that I'll prompt Megan on in a little bit here. To participate, it's super simple. It's a short survey, and then you just upload a spreadsheet to the CPA firm Lightheart Sanders, and then they take it from there. You'll get a free scorecard. You'll get a free P&L assessment, but more important than anything else is you will help all of us be able to make decisions based upon current data as opposed to old data. Very important spending decisions so you're able to spend with confidence and clarity. So I am going to talk about my light bulb moment this week. And I think it all has to do with in-person events. Just came back from a workshop in Salt Lake City, which I was there with a couple of our educators, which I'll get to in a moment. But we also, yesterday, Monday and Tuesday, we're down in Austin, Texas. We did our 2-day execution workshop. We had a full house. Salons, the growth-minded salons that are serious about planning and success, took a couple days away from their business to not only learn the system or perhaps relearn our planning system based upon 8 seasons, 5 functions, our 13-week planners and all of that, but they also had a day to actually work on their plan. And it was a huge hit. And thanks to Heath Smith for leading that, Adriana from our team being down there, as well as Michelle from our team being down there, and for those that attended. So it was super cool. Then in Salt Lake City, Candace Gliato and Laura Graven from our team went through our profit and growth curriculums 1 day each. I was actually out with them, being part of Profit Day 1. And that was hosted by Kevin Murphy. Kevin Murphy has a beautiful facility out in Salt Lake City overlooking the mountains. It was gorgeous, a stunning spot. And so thanks to Kevin Murphy for hosting this public workshop. So, but always come away inspired, always come away feeling a little bit more connected to the people we work with because we have dinners, we get to spend quality time together, and it always fuels what's next for us. So anyway, this is our last public event until January. Again, it's always nice to connect with people. So, all right. So with that, let me please welcome to the conversation the Golden Light Bulb winner from 2 years ago, Megan Jasper. Megan, how are you?
I'm great, Tom. How are you?
I'm good.
I should have worn my pin. I put my name tag on, but I forgot my golden light bulb pin.
Well, the first and most important thing is how is Waylon?
Oh, Waylon is great. He had a meatball for breakfast. He's doing awesome.
Okay. So motherhood, I'm sure, is something that you're just loving. I can just,
Yeah.
I'll just see the glow coming from you, and I can't wait to meet that little guy. So
Yeah. I can't wait for him and Rain to get together too.
it'll be a very special day for sure. So I don't know how many times you've been a guest on Light Bulb Moments, but you might have the most light bulbs of anybody. In fact, what we might need to do is actually string them together for you now and make it part of your decoration. This might be 5 times you've been a guest on here, maybe even more. And it's because you keep coming up with just some fantastic shares. So thanks for joining us again today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, and thanks for not getting sick and tired of Gadabout and VerVe wanting to share and get inspired by the industry. So thank
Well,
you.
a couple things that I mentioned previously, and many people don't know why you won the Golden Light Bulb, and it really because you were the impetus behind our compensation studies. It really was Gadabout. It was Gadabout. It was Ruiz. It was a few of our core clients that were really dealing with trying to help their team understand their compensation. And I was very taken by some of your conversations with your managers and all that. So anyway, I have to give you a lot of credit for what's turned into a very robust part of what we do, which is data and compensation. And you truly were a big inspiration behind that. So thank you.
Thank you, and thanks for making it happen, because your research has fueled the conversations that Jana and I have been able to have, and the way we look at our P&L, the way we look at our compensation structure. In 2020, we completely revamped our compensation structure, and this is the research and the information that you're creating or able to mine out of all the data that's provided is really beneficial to us. So thank you.
Well, that's very gratifying to hear because the key word behind the Qnity Institute is economic empowerment through actionable data.
Mhm.
So data is one thing, but actionable data is really what it's all about. And I think that data is very much underutilized in this industry. I was actually part of a conference recently and they compared companies. I don't know if they shared this on this forum or not, but they went into their POS system and they determined frequency of looking at reports and information with success. And they found a
Mhm.
very high correlation between data-driven organizations and those that weren't. Growth,
Mhm.
like direct correlation. So data does matter.
We had so we have it's called JTED, but it's the school, it's a cosmetology school you go to while you're in high school the last 2 years, vocational program. We had the leaders from JTED. It's multiple organizations, right? So you can learn to be an X-ray technician, a firefighter, you can learn all that. They had all the admins going on a field trip before the semester started, and they ended at Gadabout. And Frank and Jana and I all had an opportunity to share with them the benefits of the cosmetology industry. And I had your compensations did, and then I had the 1 page 9 grid that is like why compensation in this industry is amazing and it's misled. And I literally afterwards had like 3 of them say we had no idea that you could make 6 figures as a hairstylist. Like, why are more people not going into the cosmetology program? Why, like, what do you mean working 28 hours a week and still making $80,000? Like, that is unheard of. We don't, that's not an industry. Other thing they said is that 1 pager was so illuminating. They wished other industries had that to be able to share benefits and compensation with their students. So that visual component, they all took it home with them or back to the school. And so it's awesome. And it's helped us be able to pay it forward in the industry.
Well, I love that. I'm just hearing some of this for the first time, which is terrific. So thank you for that. That's such a
Yeah.
great share. And um, I'm going to share one other thing. You know, when we did a study, the first more robust one we did was with 2022, and then we did it again in 23, and we saw some trend changes. And we, in the 2022 study, we showed 24% would be earning over $100,000 if they worked what's defined as full-time by Bureau of Labor Statistics. That went up. I think it went up to 27%. There was enough of a change in the hourly rate to show that, wow, we're starting to approach 30%. 30% would be making 6 figures if they worked 40 hours a week. So anyway, we could go on about that one, but we have a topic of focus today. It's a damn good one. And it's under, I got to give JP credit for this because she said Megan's got to share. I said Megan's got to share. What's her share though? I thought, oh, that's another good one. All right, so let me kind of set this up for the group here a little bit. And the other maybe tie into the data is one of the early findings we're getting out of the P&L benchmark study is a very high jump in non-service payroll. Labor
Huge.
costs have gone up a lot. And at the same time, we're in the most disruptive technology in our lifetime, in history. And we have a very, very rapid changing set of technology platforms and tools coming out of AI. And customer service and frontline is at the epicenter of this. And so anyway, this is going to be a great topic today, but let's back up here a little bit. And you sort of backed into a new solution on technology related to customer service because of your phone system being forced to make a change. So take us back a little bit, and we'll ease into this.
Yeah, at the end of July, the phone system that we currently were using, they sent us an email. We've been with them 10, 12 years and said, we're no longer going to be in business. So you have until October 1st to either stop using phones or find a different provider, essentially. And so we had August and September to find a new phone provider. And I don't know if anyone knows about our business, but we have a call center, we have a communication center, we have a centralized scheduling hub that houses at any given time 6 to 8 call center agents. We have 6 locations, we have 2 brands. Phones are kind of the epicenter of how we schedule our appointments, have our guests reach out to us. We do have, or we did have some text messaging capabilities, but very small. We did have online booking, but also the majority of our guests, when they wanted to connect with us, were picking up the phone and making a phone call.
So you get this notice, and I just want to know, what was the first word out of your mouth, and can you actually say it publicly?
Probably not, but my
That's a
default
massive disruption in your business. Yeah.
my default mindset is always like, if it doesn't have to be broke to get fixed, and sometimes things are going to, that we're going to have to do this, like we're just going to have to power, there's no choice. And so our IT person like is so frustrated about X, Y, and Z as we're moving forward. And she's like, I just want to have our own system back. It works so well. And I'm like, that's not a choice. Like, we don't have that option. We don't get to like fall back on plan B. The only option we have is moving forward.
So with that, so then that ushers us into the exciting part of it.
Yeah.
And
I've shopped for a phone system. This is my 3rd time looking for a phone system. And the last 2, I felt like I was beating my head against the wall. It was like technology only does so much, and it's this hardwired phone system, and it's so left brain and boring. And this time, like, we had 2 months. So it was, and gotta love our 8 seasons calendar. This was not part of our plan for the year. Like, we had other things happening in August and September, not looking for a phone system. So we get into it, and we're starting to interview these companies, and I'm going home like so jazzed and excited about technology and about what the possibilities are, and thinking like we've been stuck because we were comfortable. And it worked. It didn't frustrate us most of the time, and it was great. Like, the excitement of where technology is going is just amazing. And the way that we're just scratching the surface right now, but the way that we're going to be able to layer in so much opportunity with support from technology to guest service representative is exciting.
tease us with some of the features. I mean, I know that there's one I don't want to steal your thunder, but I was definitely taken by this. So literally, what you can be notified based upon words that come out of a conversation, a customer complaint.
Mhm,
Like if the word manager comes up,
mhm,
that might flag you and other
mhm.
leads. So tease us with some of the features of this.
Yeah. The platform has AI built in. And so in real time, AI is listening and transcribing. And I have a funny story about telling the technicians that AI was coming, and they thought that the robots were going to be answering the phone. I'm like, there's no robots. The robots are enhancing the humans, right? The robots are doing all the back end work and letting the humans do better, right? Be able to have better guest experience um, for our service providers. So if an agent or a says, I need to speak with your manager, let me go find my manager, I need to ask my manager, it will in real time pop up a notification on my phone that says agent 1204 manager notified. And then I can pull up wherever I am, or whoever gets the notification, our guest service team lead also gets it, can pull up and we can read the transcript of the call. We can click to listen in, so we can listen in real time, or we can go and talk to the guest service representative and have them transfer the call to us anywhere we want. So to me, that's like a saving opportunity with new hires. I don't know if any other salons are experiencing the rate of turnover in guest services that we are, but we just had our holiday meeting and 85% of our guest service representatives have not been through a holiday season. So the rapidness and the need for faster education is definitely upon us, and being able to have real metrics, real information to be able to see it in real time. I get notified if there's more than a 4-minute hold time. I get notified if there's more than 8 calls in the queue, all the different things, and we just set those up through AI. But speaking to education, the one feature that we're literally scratching the surface on and I've been playing with is you can also set real-time script cards to pop up. So for example, if I, as the agent, say pedicure, it pops up a notification and it says, this holiday season, we recommend our Tranquility Seasonal Pedicure. It is da 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 da. Or if I call and say, I need directions to the location at St. Philip's Plaza, it will pop up directions and a direct link to the map. Because in our 6 locations, not every agent has been to every salon and knows what corner Circle K is on. And the guest is driving and saying, I'm right by Circle K. And they're like, what are you talking about? So to be able to have that as a easily accessible piece. We can set that, like if somebody calls and says, what's the price of extensions, that it would pop up a notification on how much those are. So um, I think getting excited about technology and getting excited about what the future of it can bring and how it can enhance. Would I have said we needed to change our phone system? Probably not. But getting excited and thinking about how technology can enhance the training process or the education process for our guest service team is, I'm just excited about it. I go home and talk about phones, and Regan's like, what? Why are we talking about phones? It's not that cool. I'm like, no, it is that cool.
We're hitting a lot of pain points here.
Yeah.
Uh, we're hitting a pain point of turnover, and the frontline turnover is a pain point. And while this may not lower turnover, it does completely accelerate your ability to have confidence in someone representing you.
Yeah.
So turnover and training, huge pain points. Complaints, huge pain point. Hold time, you know, if someone's going to be on the phone and they're one of the rare people that still want to call, well, not rare, but everything's compressed. So hold time is even more important today than it was 2 years ago. So you're hitting a lot of pain points here. And the other thing that you're suggesting here is the excitement behind this, is it's an exciting technology. So
It's so exciting. I've had so many experiences just in this last month, 2 months of using, 2 months now of using the system, that like the guest will say, oh, I was quoted such and such. And not that you're going to go and say, well, we have the notification, I know exactly what you were quoted, but it gives us the opportunity to go back and view the transcript of the call and then have real-time coaching with the guest service representative, right? So it's not that we're using it against the guest, we use it in an education capacity. Or a guest is calling and they're trying to explain the type of hair they have, and usually a guest service representative is going to give like a 2-line heads up to the service provider, and then the service provider, they're most nervous when they have a new guest on their chair. And now I've given this much information on a guest that said this much about their hair type and what they're looking for. And so we can then just forward the call to the salon and say, hey, this is Mariah's guest. She's coming in. She wanted Mariah to have a little heads up on her hair, right? So there's ways that we can enhance the internal communication and set each other up for success. I mean, I think about bridging that gap between what we have as a communication center, centralized booking, and then the salon locations. So when you're in a salon and you take a call and then you're going to go tell so-and-so about who's coming to sit in their chair, we don't have that. We just have technology to help. So there's so many perks. There's
you know
so many.
this is a perfect example of this overall theme of what we've been getting into many of these episodes, and that's tech and touch.
Mhm.
And what this really does is it's absolutely technology driven, but it's creating higher touch,
Mhm.
really, because the guest is less convenienced with a lot of wait time and a lot of different things and customization. So it actually enables things like customization.
Yeah, and it could be part of our software system, it could be a phone system, it could be whatever, wherever the offering is. But being able to utilize this, we have the callback feature, so the guest can push to and they still keep their place in the queue, but we call them back. We have voicemail now, like the guest can actually leave a voicemail, like so old school, but we didn't ever have that before. And we can have different, we have texting that's right through the system. They can send a picture and then all of the information, all of their call history, text history, anything, the transcripts, all of it stays in the computer for like, it follows it for 12 months. So we can look back at text exchanges, we can look back at all of whatever has happened with that particular phone number and be able to research it. After every phone call, the computer analyzes the call, and well, during the call it analyzes and it has it highlighted in red or in green on whether it's like the guest is a positive tone of voice or a negative tone of voice. And then at the end, the agent has the opportunity to rate the phone call and they get to rank themselves against our steps of service. And so it like creates a grade, if you will, at the end, and it gives real-time coaching. I just, whether it's your software system, whether it's a phone system, I don't know. I just think, I said this to you the other day, like we're so good at using 30% of our tools. You buy a new
Yeah,
car, you use 30% of the features. And so for me, this is this opportunity of like, I can dive deeper into this technology, which means I should also be diving deeper into my point of sale software and be able to add a new feature there, right? Be able to activate and try something new, whether that's looking at a new report or playing with the waitlist feature differently. So just, it's been eye-opening for us to say, okay, technology, it's here, we're embracing it and we're getting excited. And there's so many ways that we can use it if we allow our minds to say, we got to think about it a little bit different. The robots
yeah,
aren't taking.
yeah. we'll get into, we're gonna switch into technology adoption in a broader perspective in a moment, but we're gonna stay away from mentioning the vendor in this particular case until we have a little bit of time to vet the vendor. And the other thing is, stay tuned for those of you listening in, because the other part of the story is what technology, to Megan's point here, some of this technology might be embedded in your existing POS system or might be sooner than you think. So, and the other thing that's a little bit different about your situation, Megan, is the scale of your business. I mean, you have a call center, you have a high number of agents, and you can spread out the cost of a phone system because it is an incremental cost, that not everybody would make. And in your particular case, seems like a no-brainer. Sounds like it was about the same amount of money, but a lot more features. So, okay. So, back to this whole thing of two other areas I want to explore with you today is frontline labor. I mentioned at the beginning of this conversation is really jumping. I mean, and costs are going up, but that's the area where the highest cost is. It's coming right hot out of the press, out of the P&L study right now, and it's up significantly. Certain spends are down, like marketing and education, but frontline labor is going up and up and up. And this particular technology that you have was not a cost saving effort. It was more about customer service and growth and all of that, right?
Correct. Yes, it was an expense that we knew we had to endure. But we didn't go seeking a new phone system to save more money. That
Sure.
wasn't it. But the opportunity and the ideas that technology will help hopefully speed up an education process that will offer the opportunity for guest service representatives to have more knowledge at their fingertips, not that they have to memorize it, but that it's readily available at a click of a button, that we can pre-program in scripts and things like that they are encouraged to say. What I'm learning through this process is this generation, the young generation, they would rather you give them the actual script that they need to say than that they make it up themselves. So even when they go to the holiday education and get the information, they still want, what should I say? What do I need to say? Because they're not going to make it up and check all the boxes. We just launched all of our holiday gift card collateral, and this year we introduced, these are your script. This is what you say when you call the guest that purchased a gift card last year. This is what you say, and they're so happy. And so it's like,
Yeah.
if we can get to the place where the technology is supporting them and allowing them to authentically themselves and offer guest services, but that they don't have to think, it's going to be a win-win for everyone.
So I'm going to share with you my pyramid that I developed when was in a peer company of yours, a large multi-location with a call center, and really having not just frontline payroll in salon, but having a third-party call center. But I think it absolutely applies to today and the future.
Yeah.
It's a very simple pyramid. And so essentially, when you look at frontline support, customer facing, call center, and then, in salon, you've got at the bottom of the pyramid is operations. It's just the bread and butter, blocking and tackling, make sure that the calls are answered. There's no dropped call. It's the basic level of operations, low error rate, without any pizzazz to it. You go up one more level. Now you have a little bit more of high touch. You have more consultative care with someone on the phone. And where you're not like, because our call center sometime would just be screaming. You just couldn't wait to get off the call, So to be able to not only go through the operations, but the middle part of the pyramid is customer service and higher level, but the top of the pyramid is the sweet spot. And that's really where I think it needs to go, and that's marketing. Where that
Great.
particular function is the basics are handled. There's a high level of customer service, but now how does this tangibly, measurably increase marketing? So it becomes a marketing arm. Now, you and I have never talked about this, but do you agree with my assessment?
Yes, 100%. And I think I said to Jana a few months ago, I was like, we need to change the name of our communication center. It needs to be the marketing hub, and they need to be doing as many outbound calls as they're doing inbound calls. And every service that they're scheduling needs to have an additional service that we recommend. And yes, 100%. So to scratch the surface of this like marketing idea for the holiday incentive, I've always do a holiday incentive for our guest service team. They always get something, and it's usually like for every +1 that you offer, you get a point, and for every +1 you schedule, you get 2 points, and then it's redeemable for cash. And it was always just like broad, like whatever additional service you want to offer, go for it, thinking that they're creative and they understand, they're looking at the books, they can do it. So I said, stop the madness. I made them a little 9 grid, and in the center of each box is a service. So if a guest calls and schedules a haircut, it says haircut, and then recommend a Kerastase treatment. And if they call in and they schedule a brow wax, recommend a brow tint. If they're scheduling a facial, recommend a anti-aging facial, right? Like 9 very specific +1s and add-ons. And I can't tell you how much money we're giving away because they're actually doing it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like it's marketing, but it's very direct and it's very scripted.
Yeah. And it's very inexpensive. And it's tapping into your existing guest, and in the call center that we had, we actually had 2 people that we tagged. Tag isn't the right word. We called them marketing,
Yeah.
staff of about 12. And then 2 of them, we said, we want you've mastered the basics of operations, you've mastered the basics of customer service, but you have this sense of growth and opportunity and have a little bit of sales in you. And so we literally designated them as different people. Maybe the future is everybody's got to be like that.
I
Everybody's
love
got to have that hat of authentic selling,
it.
authentic selling, which is the point of purchase opportunities for add-ons, product, and everything is just enormous. You kind of got me going on this. So maybe I think what the future could even look like to really truly look at the P&L, I would recommend breaking some of this out and put it into marketing,
Yeah,
so.
I love
Well, listen, it's already 40 minutes after the hour, and we could have a whole conversation about tech adoption. One of my biggest pet peeves is the low utilization of our existing platforms. But
right.
I think we already,
30%.
what's that?
30%. The average, we use 30% of the features available in
I think
anything.
I think you're being way generous.
I like technology.
I would say it's 8 to 10%. Yeah. But that's because you're Megan and you somehow are a magician of doing all this stuff. So if you're using 30%, but your point's well taken. I mean, there is just there's a very low investment in technology adoption compared to technology acquisition.
I agree.
So going
Well,
deeper.
we're always looking for a shiny new object, right? The shiny new feature gets you excited. And so then you jump and you go to a different platform, a different software. And I'm not saying don't, there's a lot of opportunity that perhaps what's shiny and what's new is also right in front of you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, shout out to you and Gadabout. You guys are always on the leading edge. You're always pushing forward. You have a growth mindset, very active in the industry. You're givers, multi-generation family business, great team, great family, super smart. And a lot of people look up to you, Megan, look up to Gadabout. as do I. And my goodness, I guess we're gonna have to get you another one of these, won't we? So, all
Well,
right.
we're an open book and we're always available. I know I'm not supposed to say that, but just
Oh,
know that if anyone's in the Arizona area, we'd love to tour them around.
all right, there you go. And 2 to 10 this year, how was your experience there?
I loved 2 to 10. I really, really enjoy gathering with um, like-minded salon friends, like thinking about what's next, being able to meet and spend time um, with industry powerhouses that I don't normally get to spend time with. I think 2 to 10 is the perfect networking roundtable group where the answer is already in the room, right? The information, we're not seeking it elsewhere, we're seeking it from one another. And that's my favorite type of learning.
Are you able to go public on what is indeed your favorite event of the year?
2 to 10.
It is. Well, that's a big compliment because you go to many of the best events in the industry. So thank you. And you're a big part of 2 to 10. You're actually one of the OGs. You're one of the originals. I think you've now been there all but maybe 2 or 3 years. So it
Yeah.
was great to have you. Thanks for being a guest today. We could
Thank
talk
you.
forever. I'm going to take this episode and I'm going to be sure to send it to a bunch of people, including your Smart and Heart group, a series of other owners and leaders like yourself that you work with very closely, some of the best brands in the country. I'm going to make sure that they get this episode. They're going to love it.
Well, they're my favorite. They're really special human beings, favorite in my heart.
We might just have to put the band back together.
I'm in.
All right, everybody. Thanks for another episode of Lightbulb Moments. Thanks also to our sponsors. Thanks also to JP from our team, who does a great job behind the scenes, making sure everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. So we are on next week. That is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I hope I'm correct on that. And so I'm just looking in the chat here to see, are we on next week? I think we are. All right, everybody, thanks again, and we'll see you very soon. Thanks, especially to Megan and Gadabout for such a great share today. Take care. Bye.